Welcome to our deep dives, everybody. This time, we're tackling AI. We're going to be looking at Marc Beckman's book, Some Future Day.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Really makes you think about, well, the future. Beckman argues that AI is basically going to revolutionize, like, everything, from how we work to how we create, even healthcare, and how we interact with each other. So, ready to unlock the secrets of the age of imagination.
Let's do it. I've got my thinking cap on.
All right. So Beckman starts off with this big idea. He says that AI is kind of the final piece of the puzzle. Like, we have all this tech, right? Virtual reality, blockchain.
Right.
But AI is what supercharges it all. He even uses this analogy of, like, adding rocket fuel to a race car.
It's a pretty apt analogy. I mean, think about it. AI takes things from 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye.
Exactly. It's not just like, oh, things are going to be a little faster, a little more efficient.
Yeah.
It's like warp speed change across the board. That's a pretty bold statement. What makes Beckman so sure about this?
Well, one of the key things he talks about is democratization. AI tools and resources are becoming more accessible, so it's not just, big companies with millions of dollars who can play in this space.
Oh, interesting.
Individuals, small startups, they have access to the same kind of creative firepower that really levels the playing field.
Okay, I can see how that would accelerate things.
Yeah.
But do you have any, like, concrete examples of how this might play out in a specific industry?
Sure. Take fashion. Beckman actually uses this example. Imagine a teenager, sitting in their apartment, designing clothes, and using AI tools to compete with major fashion houses.
Wow.
AI could help with everything from the design process itself to marketing and even production. So you could have this major power shift in an industry that's, traditionally been dominated by a few big players.
That is a fascinating idea. Like,
Wow.
so a total disruption of the established hierarchy.
Exactly.
And what about for businesses in general? How does Beckman see AI changing the game there?
Well, one of the big things he talks about is personalized customer interactions.
Okay.
Like, imagine a company being able to predict your needs before you even know what you want.
That's a little scary.
Well, it could be creepy, but think about it. You go to a website, and it already knows, what you're likely to be interested in. AI could make businesses incredibly agile and responsive. It can optimize supply chains, even predict weather events that might impact deliveries, things like that.
Okay, so it's like it's taking all the data that's already out there and then using it to make really, really smart decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, let's step into the metaverse for a minute, because Beckman seems pretty convinced that it's going to be, well, huge. He throws around numbers like a multi-trillion-dollar market.
Right.
But is this just like hype, or is there real substance to this prediction?
Well, I mean, the metaverse has been around for a while in some form or other. Think of gaming, those virtual worlds.
Right.
But Beckman argues that AI is what's going to unlock its true potential. He talks about attending virtual concerts with friends from across the globe or trying on digital clothing before you buy the physical garments. Like, the level of immersion that we're talking about here is it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. It's hard to even, like, wrap your head around it. It makes you think about how our definition of reality will evolve as these lines between the physical and the digital world, they keep blurring.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about AI's impact on creativity.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Beckman suggests that AI is going to democratize the creative process. Like, he talks about artists having access to these powerful new tools, and he even mentions the possibility of collaborating with, get this, deceased artists.
It sounds crazy, but it's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Right. It's like, imagine composing a symphony with Beethoven or painting a masterpiece alongside Van Gogh.
Yeah.
But as cool as that sounds, it does raise some questions like, what about artistic ownership and authenticity?
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line between inspiration and imitation?
That's a really important question. I think we're going to have a lot of conversations about that as this technology evolves.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating,
Yeah.
to say the least. But, okay, on a more practical level, how does Beckman see AI impacting our everyday work lives?
Well, his argument is that AI won't necessarily replace jobs, but it will definitely transform them. He sees AI taking over those routine tasks, the things that we all dread.
Like data entry, scheduling, all that stuff.
Exactly. So that frees up human workers to focus on more creative and strategic endeavors, the things that AI isn't so good at.
So it's like having this super efficient personal assistant who never takes a break and never complains.
Pretty much.
Sign me up. No, but seriously, that does raise the question of how we prepare for this shift in the workplace. Like, what skills are going to be most valuable in this AI-powered future?
Beckman really emphasizes skills that are uniquely human, like critical thinking, complex problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence. Those are the things that AI just it can't replicate.
Right.
And he also talks about the importance of lifelong learning, just constantly adapting, upskilling to keep pace with this constantly evolving workplace.
It makes sense. So it's not about fearing AI. It's about understanding its strengths and its limitations,
Right.
and then focusing on those areas where humans can add unique value. Okay, now let's dive into an area where AI's impact could be, well, truly life-changing, and that's medicine. Beckman paints a pretty optimistic picture of AI leading to like this golden age of health and longevity.
Seen this exciting prospect.
What are some of the specific advancements that he highlights?
Well, he talks about AI assisting with diagnoses, like, detecting anomalies in medical images, things that a human eye might miss. AI could even predict the recurrence of diseases like cancer with remarkable accuracy. That would obviously lead to earlier interventions, better outcomes.
So we're talking about AI potentially saving lives and improving the overall quality of life for millions of people.
Absolutely.
But, there are some people who worry that AI will eventually replace doctors altogether. What does Beckman have to say about that?
He sees AI more as augmenting the role of doctors, not replacing them. So, AI could handle those routine tasks, provide insights from massive data sets, but doctors would still be there for that human interaction, that complex decision making. There's still that human touch that's so crucial in healthcare.
That's reassuring. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's all about finding that balance, that sweet spot between human expertise and AI's analytical power.
Exactly.
But let's not sugarcoat things.
Yeah.
Beckman also addresses the potential for AI to be used in less altruistic ways,
Right.
particularly in the military.
Yeah, he goes there. It's a tough conversation to have.
What are some of the ethical considerations that he raises about AI on the battlefield?
Well, you could have AI-powered drones that can adapt to changing conditions, identify targets, and even make strategic decisions, all in real time. And, this could lead to more efficient warfare. But, it also raises concerns about, autonomous weapon systems, about the potential for unintended consequences.
That's a scary thought. It feels like we're entering uncharted territory here, you know?
Yeah.
Like we need to think very carefully about the ethical implications of giving machines this much power.
Absolutely.
What does Beckman suggest we do to ensure that AI is used responsibly in this context?
He really emphasizes the need for international cooperation, for ethical guidelines for AI development, particularly when it comes to military applications. We need to establish clear rules of engagement. There needs to be human oversight of these AI systems. And we need to prioritize transparency and accountability, basically to prevent AI from becoming a threat to humanity.
It sounds like a tall order.
It is.
But it's clear that these are conversations that we need to be having now before these technologies become so advanced that they're beyond our control.
Right.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Talk about something a little less intense. Let's talk about AI's impact on news and information. Beckman seems surprisingly optimistic about AI's potential to combat fake news, which is, it's a welcome change from all the dystopian scenarios we often hear about.
Right. Well, he's particularly interested in blockchain technology. He thinks that combined with AI, it could be really powerful in terms of verifying the authenticity of news content. Like, imagine being able to trace the origins of a photo or a video,
Oh, wow.
to make sure it hasn't been manipulated, that it hasn't been fabricated. This could be huge, especially for citizen journalists. It could make it a lot harder for misinformation to just spread unchecked.
Yeah, that would be a game changer, especially in an age where it's becoming increasingly difficult to separate, fact from fiction online.
Yeah.
So we're talking about using technology to fight back against the very problems that it sometimes creates.
Exactly. It's about harnessing the power of AI for good, for creating a more informed and engaged citizenry.
So before the break, we were talking about AI's potential to, revolutionize how we consume and verify news. And I think it's a great transition into talking about the financial world.
Okay.
Because Beckman seems pretty excited about, the rise of these decentralized digital currencies.
Yeah.
But honestly, for a lot of people, crypto still feels kind of like this big mystery.
Oh, for sure. It can be really complicated, a lot of jargon, and it's hard to keep up with.
Right.
But, what Beckman suggests is that AI could actually be the key to making this whole world of crypto, like, more accessible and understandable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So how does he see that happening?
Well, he talks about AI helping to manage these decentralized financial systems, like assessing risk,
Yeah.
even giving people personalized financial advice.
So AI could actually act as like a personal financial advisor.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, helping us navigate this crazy world of digital currencies. That's pretty intriguing, especially for people who, maybe they feel excluded by traditional banking systems.
Exactly. This whole idea of decentralized finance or DeFi, it's about creating these financial systems that are transparent and secure and open to everybody. Imagine a world where you don't need a bank account to access financial services,
Wow.
thanks to digital wallets and, these decentralized currencies.
That is a powerful concept, especially like you said, for communities that have been traditionally excluded from those traditional financial systems. So it sounds like AI could actually play a role in creating a more equitable financial landscape.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. But, we also have to be realistic. There are potential downsides too. And,
Yeah.
one thing Beckman warns about is that AI could also empower scammers
Right.
with these like really sophisticated new tools.
Oh yeah, it's like a double-edged sword with all this powerful tech.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what does he say about that? Like how could AI make scams like even more effective?
Well, he talks about how AI can personalize scams, right? So they're way more convincing, harder to detect. Like, imagine you get a message that seems to know, everything about you, your interests, your financial situation.
Yeah, that's creepy.
It's really easy to see how people could fall victim to that.
That's a chilling thought. It's like we're entering this era where we just have to be like hyper vigilant about our online security.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern.
So how do we protect ourselves from these AI powered scams?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just education and awareness. We have to understand how AI is being used by these scammers and just be skeptical. Like anytime you get a message or an offer that seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Right, right. That old adage. So it's like staying informed, being cautious, maybe like adopting a healthy dose of paranoia when you're online.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Well, let's move on to a topic that feels honestly straight out of science fiction.
Okay.
Metahumans.
Yeah.
Beckman suggests that these AI-powered virtual beings are going to blur the lines between like human and digital interaction. Are we really at a point where we need to be thinking about this?
I think so. I mean, metahumans are already being used in a lot of different fields like customer service and entertainment.
Right.
And as AI advances, they're just going to get more and more realistic. It's going to be harder and harder to tell them apart from real humans.
I have to admit, the idea of like interacting with a virtual being that's indistinguishable from a human, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
But it's also a little unsettling.
it is.
So what are the potential implications here, both positive and negative?
Well, Beckman explores both sides. He talks about how metahumans could offer companionship, support, even education. Like imagine having an AI companion that travels with you, learns about your interests, provides support. On the flip side, though, there are concerns about, deception, manipulation,
Yeah.
the potential for people to form unhealthy emotional attachments to something that's not actually human.
Right. Right. I mean, it's like where do we draw those boundaries?
Exactly. It's a really complex issue.
It sounds like we need to be having some serious conversations about the ethical implications of
Right.
of metahuman technology
Yeah.
before it gets to a point where we can't control it.
For sure.
But let's step back from the realm of virtual beings for a moment
Okay.
and explore another way AI could impact our physical reality.
Okay.
Beckman talks about something called sighted AI, which essentially gives sight to devices.
Mm.
And this sounds like it could be incredibly beneficial, especially for people with visual impairments.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he talks about how sighted AI could make the world just much more accessible, help people with visual impairments navigate their surroundings, access information, even, just interact socially. Like imagine a smartphone that can describe your environment, read text aloud,
Yeah.
recognize faces.
That is incredible. It sounds like this technology could really improve the quality of life for so many people. But it also raises, concerns about privacy.
Right.
If devices can see, they can collect a lot of data about us.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid concern. And, Beckman stresses the importance of having, clear guidelines for data privacy and security. We need to make sure that this technology is used responsibly and that people have control over their personal information.
Right. So it's like every technological advancement comes with these potential risks and benefits.
Right.
And we need to be aware of both as we navigate this rapidly changing landscape.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now let's switch gears again and delve into an area where AI could have a really profound impact on future generations. And that's education.
Yeah.
Beckman seems to believe that AI could revolutionize the way we learn.
Yeah, he's pretty optimistic about that.
So what's his vision here? Like how does he see this playing out?
Well, he talks about, AI tutors that can provide personalized feedback, and he talks about educational materials being instantly translated into any language, and learning, really being tailored to an individual's needs and learning styles.
So it's like having this customized education for every student.
Exactly. He thinks AI could make education just more engaging, more accessible, and just more effective overall.
Yeah, that sounds like a dream come true for educators and students alike.
Yeah.
But, what about concerns that AI might, eventually replace teachers altogether?
Yeah.
What does Beckman say about that?
He doesn't really see that happening. He thinks AI is more likely to, augment the role of teachers, not replace them. So, he sees this future where teachers and AI kind of collaborate to create the best possible learning experience. Like, AI can handle, those routine tasks like grading, providing feedback. And then the teachers can focus on, mentoring, inspiring, fostering those critical thinking skills that, AI can't really replicate.
It sounds like AI could actually free up teachers to focus on that human element of education.
Yeah, I think that's the hope.
The part that machines can't quite replicate. But what about those who worry that, if we become too reliant on AI, it might actually hinder our ability to think critically, to solve problems independently?
I mean, that's a very real concern, and Beckman acknowledges that. He talks about the potential for AI to create what he calls an age of dumb, where we're just, so reliant on technology that we lose our ability to think for ourselves.
Right. So it's not just about embracing the potential of AI. It's about being mindful of those potential downsides.
Yeah.
And finding ways to mitigate those risks.
Exactly. And he talks about, the importance of teaching those critical thinking skills from a young age, encouraging curiosity, fostering a healthy skepticism toward information.
Especially in this AI-driven world, it seems like education plays such a crucial role in navigating this new landscape.
I think so, yeah.
We need to equip future generations with the skills to, not only use AI effectively, but also to think critically and independently.
Right. It's not just about being, users of the technology, but really understanding it, questioning it.
Right. And let's face it, education isn't just for kids. We all need to be constantly learning, adapting in this world that's changing so rapidly.
Yeah, for sure. We're all students in a way.
Beckman seems particularly concerned about the potential impact of AI on social media and, how it might be used to spread misinformation.
Right. And it makes sense because AI can really amplify those problems that already exist on social media, making it even harder to tell what's real and what's fabricated. Like he talks about the potential for AI to create, these hyper-realistic deepfakes, spread misinformation at an unprecedented scale.
So we're talking about a potential scenario where AI could actually erode trust in everything, undermine critical thinking.
Yeah.
Even threaten the very fabric of our democracy.
I mean, that's a worst case scenario, but it's a possibility that we have to consider.
Yeah, it's a pretty daunting prospect. But does he offer any solutions here? Is there anything we can do to counter this?
Well, he does talk about the potential of using AI to actually combat these problems, developing AI-powered fact-checking tools, bias detection algorithms, basically using technology to help us evaluate information.
Okay. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
It is.
AI can be used to both create and combat misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the key is just, being aware of both sides of this equation, developing strategies for using AI responsibly.
Absolutely.
This conversation has been incredibly enlightening. It's clear that AI has the potential to just completely reshape our world in both positive and negative ways.
Yeah,
But I think what's exciting is that we're having these conversations now while we still have time to shape the future.
I agree. I think that's really important.
All right, so we're back for our final segment of this deep dive into some future day. We've talked about a lot, AI's potential to change how we work, create even how we live. But now I'm kind of curious, like, what does Beckman suggest we actually do? How do we navigate this whole new world? How do we make sure this age of imagination actually leads to a brighter future, not just like a scary one?
Well, Beckman definitely leaves us with a lot to think about. His big message is that, we're not just passive bystanders in all of this. We're active participants. The choices we make today, they're going to determine the kind of world we create with AI. He doesn't really offer any easy answers. But he does emphasize some really important guiding principles,
Hmm.
like education, critical thinking, ethical frameworks and global cooperation.
So it's not just about, understanding the tech, it's also about understanding ourselves, our values.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. What kind of future do we actually want to build, and how do we use AI to get there? He stresses that we need to have this ongoing dialogue, involving lots of different voices, different perspectives, because AI, it should benefit everyone, not just a select few, and that means we need to be really thoughtful about the ethical implications.
It sounds like a pretty daunting task,
Oh, it definitely is.
especially with, AI developing so fast.
Hmm.
Does Beckman recommend any specific actions that we can take, just as individuals to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Well, he encourages us to stay informed, to keep up with the latest developments, understand who the key players are. He even names some people like Greg Brockman from OpenAI, Mustafa Suleyman at Microsoft AI, Imad Mustark. He's with Stability AI. He says, keep an eye on their work. It's going to have a big impact.
So it's almost like being an informed citizen, engaging in thoughtful discussions, maybe even challenging the status quo sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he also talks about supporting organizations that are, actively working to promote responsible AI, like, the Partnership on AI, the AI Now Institute.
Right.
Those are groups that are really trying to make sure that AI is used ethically, that its benefits are shared widely.
Okay. So it's good to remember that we're not alone in all of this. There are people, organizations out there that are dedicated to making sure that AI is a force for good, but beyond those kind of broader societal actions, are there things that we can do, just on a personal level to get ready for this AI powered world?
Yeah, Beckman provides this whole list of AI tools and resources in the book, and he really encourages readers to experiment with them,
Yeah.
just to understand how AI can be used, practically, creatively. He breaks them down by category, things like SEO optimization, content creation, blockchain exploration.
Yeah. So it's about like embracing lifelong learning,
Mm-hmm.
being curious,
Yeah.
maybe even finding ways to integrate AI into our own work.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's for creative pursuits or just making our lives a little bit easier. He really believes that AI is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced, to be explored, and to be shaped. So that benefits everyone. One thing that he says that I really like is that, AI, it's not a destination, it's a journey. It's this ongoing process of learning and adapting and evolving.
That is an inspiring thought. And I think, the big takeaway from some future day is that the future of AI, it's not predetermined. It's up to us. It's up to us to decide how we want to use this technology, what values we want to embed in it,
Yeah.
and what kind of world we want to create.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there. And, Beckman actually leaves us with a pretty powerful question to ponder. He says, in this rapidly evolving AI landscape, how will you use your knowledge and your critical thinking skills to navigate the age of imagination and shape the future?
That's definitely a question worth reflecting on. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into some future day. I hope you all found it, as fascinating as I did, and I hope you've learned a thing or two about the transformative potential of AI. The challenges it presents, and the role that we all play in shaping its future. So until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
Thank you for joining us at Wisdom House, where we bring you timeless insights from the greatest books. If you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom House. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video.